Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Hello and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours again for beginners. This is going to be a really simple one. This is £140 Bockingford extra rough paper. I've wet both sides and stretched the paper, and now I'm just evening out the film of water. And what I'm trying to teach you with this is composition of where the elephants are, and the strength in your sky and the waters, and the strength to make your picture stand out and become noticeable. So straight in the middle. This is just raw sienna. Just get it on. The paper's laying flat. This is quinacridone gold. Just strengthening the raw sienna up, because the film of water will actually make this dry about 30 to 50% lighter, so you have to be mindful of that. This is raw umber with just a touch of burnt umber. I'm just going to pull this into the corners, just pull it in. Basically the same here. These are all earth colours, very little mixing to do. Kind of like that. Make the water a little stronger, because water has depth. Okay. And then we're going to leave that to dry. Okay, the paper's dried quite a lot off, and it's still slightly damp, but I'm bringing some burnt umber and raw umber into the palette, and I need to water this down. Take a little of the excess off, and we're just going to pop in, probably just a little bit too strong. Water that down again. While we put in some background trees. This is a number 8 sable brush. You use any brush that you feel comfortable with, of course. Still remembering that this will dry an awful lot lighter. Let's pull some down. Build your height up, your trees next to the edge of the paper, so that your eye is not brought out of the painting. Something slightly stronger, we can just put the shoreline in. I want the shoreline to be stronger, and I do actually want it to bleed up. Maybe even a little bit stronger than that. You can bring it across your elephant, it doesn't matter. Okay, then you need that to dry for a moment. Once your background has dried, with a flat brush or a round brush, we're just going to add a little bit of clean water along underneath the edge and the bank of the far bank. Try not to touch where the dry paint is. And then into that I just want to drop some of the same mixture, just to add a slight reflection. The board is still laying flat. Soften off the edge with your brush, just to break up any hard edges that might form. Clean water. And leave that to dry. Now that that's dry, we can carry on down into this land area here, and don't worry, this is not a three-legged elephant. Its two legs are together. Like some of the others, it's almost in silhouette. This is quinacridone gold again. It's like putting a second layer on, but the paper's dry, so it appears stronger because it has not been watered down with the water that was originally put on the paper. Just roughly get it in. You don't really have to be too accurate with this, to be honest. Just up to the edge of the back. And then, well, this is burnt umber with just a touch of raw umber in it and a little touch of French ultramarine. And I'm putting this wet into wet because I want to bring all this together at the bottom so it all merges, so there's no hard edges. Okay. Our little fella here won't, because he's down in the grass, you won't be able to see too much of him. Don't be frightened of strength of colour, it will dry lighter. You need to get the colour on in a sufficient strength so when it dries it still keeps its impact. Into this, once again, just dropping some colour in all around the legs, whilst re-strengthening your elephant up as the colour dissipates. Uneven ground around this little fella here. Get plenty of colour on. Undulate your brush. Like I said, don't be frightened of getting colour on. A little flick with the brush. Just have to remove them. Okay, into your next colour, which is burnt umber, sepia and French ultramarine. We add this to your elephant, and I want this to be very strong here as it comes down into the grass, so the elephant and the grass merge together. And I'm just dropping colour in there. Just drop it in here along the grass. You can really see how strong I have got this colour. I'm just going to keep adding to it. Paper's drying out slightly there. Just bring it round to this edge. Then with a rigger brush into the mixture, just pulling up some of your tall grasses. Don't have them all going the same way. In fact, we might just bring a very large one out over here. Around our little fellow. Once again, some tall grasses here. Don't be frightened of going into your background, because this helps tie your pictures together. Once again, maybe just dropping in some bit of strength into areas. Maybe push it up into the grass. A few more. Then with some clean water while that is still damp. I don't want to touch the bank, so I'm just bringing a line of clear water all the way along the grass banking, even though the paint is still wet. I just want this to be damp before I bring it into the wet paint. Then re-wet the whole of the area once you feel safe to do so. Light stroke, and you will not disturb the paint you have underneath. Now we need to let this shine go off this slightly, and then we're going to pull the paint down into here, into the water below, and then we'll create the reflections. Okay, I think you can see from the gloss off the camera and the lights, the paper has gone into what they call, it's like a velvet colour, where the water has sunk into the paper, and we can now start to bring some of the reflections in. I'm just using a rigger brush for this, and I'm not going to pull too much in at one time, because I also want to add the reflection of the elephants, but we might turn the board upside down for that, I think. Breaking up the hard edges, bringing some paint where it's needed. And now you can see why I put so much paint on, because it comes in handy when you come to do this. Just break any hard edges up, same up here if you can, so there are no linear lines. Pulling it out all the time, a little bit at a time. Don't rush. Okay. And as you notice, as it's drying, the quinacridone gold here is showing through the burnt umber and the other colours to give a lighter appearance on the back, where the sun has caught the back of it, and this is in deep shadow. We're just going to allow that to dry at the moment. As you can see, I've turned the board upside down. It's dried off a little further, and I'm just going to put the same as what I did before, some quinacridone gold here. I'm not really bothered about the shape, as long as it roughly resembles what you have on the bank. Our little fella here. Can't see him too well in the reflections, but you will in a moment or two. This is quite thick paint now. Just being careful on how I do this. Pull it in, pull it down. Adding the dark mixture once again at the bottom. Just to help to diffuse all the colours and the shape. Your eye will tell you that it's an elephant. I'm just going to put the board flat. Maybe just here, I'll just take out a shape. This is a damp brush. Going. Once I have the shape out, I'll just reinforce it a little tiny bit so it doesn't fill back in. Remove some of the splashes where some of the paint is built up. Just move it, it will all soften. Once again with your rigger brush and some colour. May take you more than one attempt to put the reflections to the grass in, due to the way the paint dries. As this is dried off a little further now, we can just add one or two long grasses in. These will soften, and as you go, just adding a little paint just in case it's needed. No great detail, it's just a quick flip. I think where to choose, I think we'll just put a couple of birds in the sky to break the yellow up. And the reason why I'm putting them there and not here is that the elephant on this side is bigger than it is here. Hope that makes sense to you. We may soften off one or two edges where the elephants are, but we'll have to leave that for the moment. Now you get round to the best bit. This one's finished, so all you have to do now is sign it, put a mount around it, frame it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please click a like button and subscribe. And if you want to see any further videos that I have made, I will leave a link in the description box for the full list. Thank you very much.